All right, so an exponential function is the product of an initial amount and a constant ratio that is raised to a power. So hit pause, write that in. What that looks like, f of x equals a times b to the x power. This a right here is the initial amount. This b is the constant ratio. So we can see that the exponential function is the product. So we're multiplying an initial amount by a constant ratio that is raised to a power. When these are graphed, let's just get a little visual. You will see this in our upcoming video, but it's going to look something like this. It's not a linear function. It won't be a straight line. It's got a curve to it. As we are increasing along our x's, our y values are increasing not at a constant rate, but they are rapidly increasing as your x's increase. Couple things we have to define with our function. The a value, the initial amount, will not be equal to 0. Your b value will be greater than 0, and your b value will not equal 1. So we just have to make sure that our exponential function stays defined as an exponential function, which means it fits this criteria down here. All right, let's go up to asymptote. So an asymptote is part of an exponential function. All right, an asymptote is a line that a function approaches. It's going to get closer and closer to that line, but it will never touch the line. So if we look at, we'll just do a quick sketch again of an exponential function. What you notice is that heading off to the right side, as your x's get bigger, your function is increasing. It's going to increase pretty quickly. As we head off to the left side, as your x values get smaller, your y values are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but they're never going to go negative, and they're never actually going to equal 0. So what an asymptote is this line right here, which happens to lie right on top of the x-axis. That's the line y equals 0. Our exponential function will just get closer and closer and closer and closer to that, but it will never actually touch it. So that's the asymptote for this graph, y equals 0. And then the constant ratio, I'm just going to write in here, that's the b value from our function, f of x equals a times b raised to the x power. And we're going to talk more about that constant ratio in our upcoming videos.